Yes, you bet your cabbages, Avatar is still an amazing show after all these years. But I'm gonna be honest, I never gave it a chance as a kid. We didn't have Nickelodeon, and I wasn't really a fan of the art style. But now, 20 years later, I decided to finally watch it, and I got hooked from the very first episode. So now, after weeks of being too lazy to write the script, I can finally talk about why I love Avatar The Last Airbender. This show has it all: action, humor, and deep emotional storytelling. It also features some of the best world building I've ever seen and unforgettable characters. And of course, there's Uncle Iroh, who quickly became one of my all time favorite characters.
Very impressed.
For me, Avatar is more than just a show, it's an experience. From the first episode to its perfect finale, it pulled me in like few shows ever have. First, let's talk about the story and characters. The show is divided into three seasons or books, with each book focusing on one of the bending elements. Yes, there are four bending styles, but since the air nomads were wiped out, Aang is the only one left who can airbend.
Check this out.
Now, on to book one, Water. From what I've read online, a lot of people consider it to be the weakest season. Maybe because Toph and Azula haven't been introduced yet, but personally, I think this book is the perfect introduction to the world of Avatar. It establishes the cultures, the bending styles, and the devastating impact of the war. Some say this season is a little slow, but honestly, I don't care. People also say Breaking Bad has a slow start, and that didn't stop it from becoming my favorite show ever.
Uncle? I didn't see you get hit with the tongue.
The story starts with Katara and Sokka stumbling upon Aang, a boy who has been frozen in an iceberg for 100 years. Imagine trying to catch a fish, but accidentally discovering humanity's last hope against the Fire Nation. This is cinema.
Katara, try not to put all your hopes in this boy.
But he's special. I can tell.
As a kid, I hated the art style of shows like Avatar, which is one of the reasons I never gave it a chance. But after growing up, I realized I missed out on some amazing shows. And right from the first episode, I fell in love with Avatar's art style. The world is absolutely gorgeous, with stunning landscapes, unique cultures, and vibrant settings that make it feel alive. Book 1 has a perfect mix of adventure and character growth. I feel like the show starts strong and keeps on getting better with each episode. Yes, Toph and her blind jokes don't appear this season, but we do get to see the best character in the show, Mr. Cabbage Man.
Oh, my cabbages!
Wait, I mean Uncle Iroh. What can I say? At first, you feel like Iroh is just an old tea-loving goofball that's only there for some comic relief. But as the season goes by, you realize that he's one of the kindest and wisest characters in the show. Yes, he did some evil stuff when he was a general, but after losing his son to the war, he lost everything and retired. Now he's helping Zuko and trying to prevent him from making the same mistakes he did.
Try to understand. My nephew is a complicated young man.
Speaking of Zuko, when you first see him, he just seems like an evil, firebending douchebag who's trying to capture the Avatar, take over the world. But then it hits you. He's not doing it for power, he's doing it to restore his honor after being banished by his own father. Imagine being a 13-year-old kid who speaks up in a war meeting only to get burned by your own father and cast out like you're nothing. That's beyond cruel. It's straight up heartbreaking. Honestly, instead of banishing him, Ozai and Iroh should have fought for Zuko's custody in a ladder match, just like Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. Now that would have been peak cinema. Now, one of Zuko's best moments in season 1 happens in the Blue Spirit episode, where he risks his life to help Aang escape from a Fire Nation prison. I mean, yeah, technically he does it so he can capture Aang himself, but when he gets knocked out, and later wakes up with his mask off while Aang yapping about how in another life they might have been friends. You can see it in Zuko's face. He's not just some villain chasing the Avatar, he's just a hurt kid, desperately trying to prove that he's still worth something for his own father.
I'm going to bed. No disturbances.
But of course, this story isn't just about Zuko and Dairo. At the heart of it all, we have Aang himself and his new friends, Sokka and Katara. Aang is just a fun-loving, goofy airbender who also happens to be the last of his kind. He is just a kid who never asked to be the Avatar and is completely terrified by the responsibility. Imagine waking up after 100 years only to find out you have to save the world immediately. Bro, if I sleep for 10 hours, I'd still want to stay in bed for another 10. So, of course, all Aang wants is to have fun and ride penguins just like a normal kid.
Will you go penguin sledding with me? Sure.
Also, can we talk about Appa? Hands down the best ride ever. You can keep your boring flying brooms and magic carpets. I'd take Appa any day. And as a bonus, you get Momo, a weird little flying monkey. All of this makes Aang's journey in Book 1 so great. He slowly learns to accept his duty as the Avatar, training, fighting back, and helping people along the way, without ever losing the kindness and playfulness that makes him such a lovable character. Then there's Sokka. At first, he seems like the clown of the group, armed with his trusty boomerang and always ready to crack a joke. But season 1 proves he's way more than just a comic relief. He doesn't have bending abilities, unless you count him being a food bender like Scooby and Shaggy. But that doesn't stop him from being the group's natural leader. He's the one who always has a plan, just like Dutch. While Aang and Katara rush into danger, like they're competing in a death speedrun. Sokka grows from an immature wannabe warrior into a hero without any superpowers. He's like a broke Batman, and without him, Aang and Katara probably wouldn't have made it past season 1.
You're a princess, huh? You know, back in my tribe, I'm kind of like a prince myself.
And lastly, we have Katara. She starts off as the only waterbender in her tribe, so of course she doesn't know much about bending. She never gives up, and by the end of season 1, she becomes an absolute unit of a waterbender. She's stubborn in the best way, never backing down, even challenging a master just to prove he deserves proper training after he refused to teach her just because she's a girl. And beyond her bending skills, she's the emotional glue of the group, always keeping everyone together. She encourages Aang, looks out for Sokka, and makes sure they don't completely fall apart. Not only is she an amazing fighter, but she also has the biggest heart in the show.
I'm not worried they'll get away in the blizzard. I'm worried that they won't.
What makes this trio such an amazing team is how much they grow throughout the first season. They start off as three random kids traveling the world, but by the end, they've become a true family, always sticking together no matter the dangers and hardships they face. Some people think Book 1 isn't as good as the later seasons, but honestly, it lays the perfect foundation for everything that comes next. It's an underrated season. I mean, we get that insane finale where Aang turns into a sea monster and absolutely wrecks the Fire Nation. And like this comment I saw on a great video by Phenom Sage perfectly put it, season 1 walked so that season 2 could run and season 3 could fly.
I'm surprised, Prince Zuko. Surprised that you are not at this moment trying to capture the Avatar.
Now, if Book 1 cooked, then Book 2 ate. It might be called Earth, but this season was pure fire. Book 1 was 96.1 pure like Jesse's crystals, but Book 2, that was Walter's 91.1 blue crystal perfection. I mean, where do I even start? Everything got better. The world expands, the stakes get higher, and we meet some of the best characters in the show. Plus, the action and visuals got a massive glow up from the first season. And the music? Book 2 gave us some absolute bangers. Literally, in episode 2, we get Secret Tunnel. Oh, and that's also when Aang kisses Katara for the first time, with zero risk.
I definitely wouldn't want to kiss you.
My guy was out there fumbling so hard, it was actually relatable. Because when I was younger, I also thought that's how you got girls to like you. Now we can't talk about Book 2 without mentioning one of the greatest additions to the show. Of course, I'm talking about Toph. She's like the daredevil of Earthbenders, a blind badass who can kick serious ass while still being cute. In everyone's eyes, she's just a helpless little girl, but secretly, she's a champion at earthbending. Yes, she's blind, but she can see with her feet. Her cool attitude, raw talent, and funny spirit makes her a great master to teach Aang earthbending. She constantly proved that she can protect herself without anyone's help, especially after inventing metal bending. She can feel like a jerk sometimes, but only because she struggles from her overprotective parents. Also, she's confident, sarcastic, and never lets anyone pity her for being blind. Plus, her blind jokes are just gold.
I'm with Sweetness. I've seen enough of bossing, say. And I can't even see.
Then there's Azula, Zuko's sister. If you think Zuko is a mad lad, then Azula is the queen of chaos. She's basically the female Joker, calculated, ruthless, and completely unhinged. Every time she shows up, you know someone is about to get destroyed in the most elegant way possible. And her firebending? Absolutely insane. Who'd have thought I'd fall in love with blue fire after obsessing over Shago's green flames as a kid? Plus, her one-liners and comebacks are top tier.
And I want my knife back. Now.
Who's going to make me? Mom?
She was written to be a mean, hated villain, and the writers absolutely nailed it, which makes her character stand out more. And of course, we can't forget about her friends, May and Ty Lee. May is the definition of too cool to care. She reminds me so much of Ray from Mr. In Between. She fights with throwing knives while being too chill, but deep down, she's actually got a heart, especially when it comes to Zuko. Tylee, on the other hand, is all sunshine and rainbows, the exact opposite of May. She's got everyone crushing over her. She may not have bending powers, but she can paralyze anyone in an instant and leave them defenseless. If I was Team Avatar and saw this trio, then you bet your ass I'm turning around and running like there is no tomorrow. Talking about Team Avatar, we also have the leader of the Kyoshi warriors, Suki, the queen of proving that you don't need bending to be a total badass. She humbles Sokka real quick and then becomes one of the most reliable fighters on the team. She's got skill, discipline, and on top of that, she's genuinely kind. I mean, she helped Appa when he was lost. That alone won me over instantly. Plus, she makes Sokka happy. And I love seeing Sokka happy. Suki is proof that you don't need bending to be a legend, just pure skill, confidence, and the ability to throw hands.
Oh, Sokka, you saved me. Mwah!
Actually, it's me.
As great as the action and characters are, what really makes Book 2 stand out is its storytelling. And nothing proves that more than the Ba Sing Se arc. This city was hyped up as the last safe haven, the stronghold that the Fire Nation could never breach. But once Team Avatar gets there, they realize Ba Sing Se is a different kind of nightmare. No war in Ba Sing Se? Yeah, sure. Turns out, the real villain here isn't the fire, it's control. The Dai Li, Longfang, and their creepy brainwashing tactics takes the show to a whole new level of dark. Now I was enjoying season 2 peacefully, everything was cool. Then Tales of Ba Sing Se started playing. I was happy seeing Toph and Katara getting along, Uncle Iroh helping everyone in need, even a thief. And then they hit me with that scene. Iroh singing Leaves from the Vine, crying as he mourns his son.
Little soldier boy, come marching home.
I'm a simple man. If Uncle Iroh cries, I cry. That scene hit me like a truck. I had to pause the episode, cry, go to sleep, and finish watching the next day. You can hear the raw emotion in Mako's voice. It's devastating. I don't know if it's his last recording for the show, but I'd love to imagine he left us peacefully while singing Leaves from the Vine. Rest in peace, Mako, and thank you for this masterpiece. Now, did the writers give us a break after making us cry? Absolutely not. They hit us with Appa's Lost Day, literally the next episode. It's like they want to emotionally hurt us. Seeing Appa hurt and being mistreated is so sad, man.
Get back here, you stupid beast!
And just when I thought I had recovered from seeing Appa and Uncle Iroh sad, this season finale decided it had to give me a low blow one last time. The fight was cool, and everything was shaping up for Aang to turn into the Avatar to save Katara. And then, boom, Azula shoots him in the back, almost killing him. And if Uncle Iroh wasn't my favorite character in the show, this seals it. He shows up and buys Katara enough time to escape. The finale had everything: Azula being a menace, Zuko betraying his uncle, Team Avatar losing, and Iroh making sure he's on my list of my top 10 characters I absolutely love.
I betrayed Uncle.
No, he betrayed you.
So, if book 1 was the setup and book 2 was the tragedy, then book 3 is the ultimate payoff. I mean, this is the season where we get Zuko's redemption arc. This dude finally gets that he's on the wrong team, betrays the Fire Nation, and joins Team Avatar. Of course, they don't welcome him with open hands as soon as he switches, so seeing him talking to a frog was pretty funny.
What's your answer? Yeah, that's what I'd say too.
We also get to see Katara and Zuko finally teaming up to get revenge for her mom's killer. And we can't forget about Zuko and Iroh's reunion. Zuko tearfully apologizes, and Iroh just hugs him. They should have named the season Zuko's Redemption, because my man kept on catching them W's. He was winning so much, he got sick of winning. Meanwhile, Sokka somehow manages to be a genius and an idiot at the same time. Like, dude was trying to kiss Suki while still in full Fire Nation armor. Priorities, I guess. Then there's May and Tylee finally standing up to Azula. They stopped being her loyal sheep and put her in her place. And as much as Azula was evil, but holy cow, I felt bad for her in the finale. She has a mental breakdown and loses everything. Her talking to her mom in the mirror was sad. She never felt loved. All she knows is making everyone fear her. At least Zuko had his uncle to guide him. Azula had no one. Such a sad family. And her final fight with Zuko was so good visually. The music, the tension, everything was just perfect. Then there's Toph, Sokka, and Suki trying to destroy Fire Nation airships in many different ways. Like, I feel bad for the guy who got tricked into thinking the captain remembered his birthday. But that trio were amazing. Sokka being a great leader, Toph metal bending for fun, and Suki being a beast. And finally, we have Aang versus Ozai. That fight was something else, especially when Aang unlocked the Avatar state and became unstoppable. The fight was on easy mode after that. It felt like Aang got tired of losing and used hacks to end the fight without killing Ozai. The fight was so colorful and beautiful, plus the animation was amazing. The show wraps up with a happy ending, peace is restored, Zuko becomes the Fire Lord, and Uncle Iroh finally enjoying his tea shop in peace. And of course, Aang and Katara finally seal the show with a kiss. And there you have it. To me, Avatar The Last Airbender is a masterpiece. And if you enjoyed the video, then a sub to this channel would also be a masterpiece. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.